Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed Agus, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Michelle Rand, Boards Administration.
Ace Correa, Department of License and Inspections.
Thomas Rodney.
You're
Philadelphia
going to
license.
testify? Oh, sorry, Tom. Sorry.
That's okay.
Whoever's testifying in
you're-
this case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Raise your hand.
Okay.
We can't hear you.
Jace, take it away.
Yes,
Okay.
This is BBS case number MI-2022-000249 for 930 North 43rd Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Yvette Carter.
Okay.
Thomas
Tom, why don't you start
Rodnikowski,
us?
City of Philadelphia License and Inspections.
Why don't you start us out, Tom? What's going on with this house?
What I have is I have a property at 930 North 43rd Street that has been declared as eminently dangerous. The violations actually start from 2018 when the property was declared as unsafe, and then it progressed to being declared as eminently dangerous by the department following an inspection that took place on or around December 5th of 2021. I have one other question. According to the appeal, or reason for the appeal, is the appellant, and I'm assuming that it's Ms. Carter, is saying that the property is her grandmother's property and she needs time to enlist the services of an engineer to survey the department or survey the property and provide a report, and then obtain the contractor to make the necessary repairs of the property. I had one question for Ms. Carter is, we have the property as an Ethel Fields is the recorded owner of the property. And forgive me for asking, but is Ms. Fields still with us? She makes reference that it's her grandmother, or is it still in her grandmother's name?
It's still in my grandmother's name. And when you say this meaning with us, do you mean deceased? Yes.
Yes. Okay, so it is your grandmother's property and it would transfer to, I'm assuming, your mom or your parent,
Or correct.
and then it would transfer to you.
Correct.
Are you the administrator of the estate?
I am the administrator of the estate. I don't have paperwork indicating that I'm an administrator of the estate.
So officially, you're not the administrator, but you're taking responsibility for the property.
Correct.
Okay.
Or as much as I can. So, and I think that's part of the reason why we're having this meeting.
Okay. So
yeah.
I'm going to share my screen with the board.
Okay.
At the conclusion of my opening statement, or basically my statement and the pictures, I'm going to petition the board to grant a variance for approximately 60 days in order for you to obtain the services of a design professional and get a contractor to get the permit.
Okay.
If a permit is not issued within those 60 days, then the department would be under the authority or an enforcement to demolish the property.
Got it.
But I'll share my screen now with the board and they'll see the conditions of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Does everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the property in question, which is 930 North 43rd Street. You can see that the porch has been removed from the front of the property, but there is a sticker that was placed under the no trespassing sign. Basically, the property was sealed at some point by the department, but there is a sticker that was placed by the area inspector, Inspector Slover. That's basically just reinstating that the property has been declared as eminently dangerous. You can see that the substructure or the flooring assembly for the exterior porch is basically decayed and rotted and is collapsing on the front of the property. This is a side view. You can see that the flooring assembly for the front porch has experienced some structural distress and is collapsing. This is another photograph taken of the front of the property where it was posted, and forgive me, it wasn't Inspector Slover. Inspector Slover is the area inspector. Inspector Farley is the one who issued the the next photograph is of the side of the property. You can see there's a lot of loose material at the chimney assembly where it's starting to lose structural stability. And that up at the top of the roof line, more of that material was falling out of the property. And then this is another side view of the breezeway wall. You can see that there's a fracture that's starting in the exterior of the property. And then this is an interior view through of the interior of the property. You can see that some of the flooring or some of the ceiling assemblies have started to collapse, which shows indication of possible weather or possible water penetrating into the property, causing the interior structures to start to fail and collapse into the property.
May I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Sure.
The picture that you just showed, is that the first or second floor?
I would assume that it would be the first floor because there would be no way for the inspector to get to the second floor windows.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
And then this is the last photograph. It's taken from the rear. We refer to it as the rear shed kitchen area. And you can see that there's some distress or some structural decay up at the second floor rear bay of the property, where you can see that the water or something is penetrating and causing some rot and decay of the structural members. So that's basically why I'm saying for a assessment of the property, for Ms. Carter to get a structural assessment of the property and then obtain the services of contractor to pull the permit within the 60 days.
Hey, Tom, a couple of questions, and I agree with what your recommendation on is. In terms of the front, is there any obligation to restore the porch, or simply if they chose to do so, they could go ahead and stabilize the front, create an entrance, but not have to rebuild the porch?
Correct. So as long as it's named in the Make Safe permit that they were restoring the floor of the porch but not putting the roof on, that would be fine. But we would just want to make sure that anybody that was going up to the property wouldn't be in danger of falling through the floor.
Okay, and could they entirely remove the floor? And I mean,
Well, it appears that floor does provide access to the basement area of the property.
okay.
Because I'm just making that assessment from the front. Oops.
Yeah, there is a basement.
Yeah, so I'm just making the assessment from the front because I could see like there's a window here. So that would tell me that there is some sort of entryway or breach in the masonry wall that leads into the property.
Okay. And my other question on the side, it showed the chimney that is, the bottom is missing, the top is missing. That appears to be, would that have been the flue of the chimney on the neighboring property, or is that part of this property?
It quite possibly could have been, but because of all the decay and looking at the amount of bricks that are missing, it could have broken through into the party wall between the two properties. So they would need to, any loose material would need to be filled in, and then that side wall would need to be stuccoed.
Okay, and they can remove that the remainder of that,
Yes.
of that flue if,
Yep.
you choose to do so. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so Ms. Carter, is that 60 days? Are you going to be able to take care of that and get the design professional out?
So, okay, just to clarify, you said in 60 days that I needed to get is it a Make Safe permit or
Yes.
a Make Safe permit? And that would
Yes.
come from the structural / architectural engineer, correct?
So basically what you would need to do is you would need to employ the services of a structural engineer. They would need to go through the property and take the violations that were issued, and then they would provide a report for all the violations. That report would basically be the recipe for repairing the property. Then you need to take that recipe and basically give it to a contractor or the cook to follow that recipe to make to get the permit. Once the permit is issued to that contractor, then the contractor would apply for go onto the IVR system through the Eclipse portal and schedule for the inspections. We're not saying that all the work has to be done in 60 days. All I'm looking for is that a permit be issued and in your contractor's hand and work started to make the property safe.
Got it.
And the permit to be issued from the time it's applied for, that's with a Make Safe, it's like within a week. Is that safe to say?
So if the engineer basically spells out everything that needs to be repaired and submits his drawing or submits his report. And then the contractor submits their application. It's an automatic 5-day review, which means that it would be reviewed within 5 days. And then if they asked for additional information, that would be sent back. We're asking for something to be in the system and under review. Possibly could be under review. It doesn't have to be issued, but we're looking for some sort of action within the 60 days.
Correct. And the IVR is a platform that the person
Yes.
would need to put this information in for you to.
It's
Okay.
It's an online portal through our Eclipse system. Basically, it's an online scheduling system where they access the permit and then schedule for the inspections with the area inspector.
Got it. Okay. Right. Okay. So those are my next steps. And then do I reach out to, I guess, Deborah Richardson when I have this information, or basically this is just going to be kind of automatic and then we'll come back around?
It's pretty much an automatic deal.
Got it.
What you
Okay.
would do is the engineer would get the report, hand it
Mhm.
over to your contractor. Your contractor would go to L&I's website, schedule for an appointment, make the appointment, give their documentation, permit gets under review, permit gets issued. Once the contractor is issued the permit, they go on to the IVR system with the permit number, punch in the permit number, schedule for the required inspections.
Got
Those
it.
inspections are scheduled with the area inspector, who in this case, it's Inspector Slover. He
Right.
would meet the contractor out on location. They would go through the plan of work. Work would start within 10 days. And then they would continue to work on the property until it is deemed safe.
Got
There
it.
would have to be a licensed contractor with the city.
Yes,
Correct.
Is there a list that she could go to pick a contractor, or if she don't already have one?
if she doesn't have a contractor already selected, she could go to L&I's website and do a search for licensed contractors. Be fair warned, there's about 3,000 of them, so do
Right.
your homework.
Absolutely. And I'll ask as many questions as possible. I know that you can't tell me or give me recommendations, right? But I had a question in regards to, is there a question that I have not asked that I should ask? Is there additional information I should be aware of? Is there anything that I should know? Or
Uh,
what question should I ask that I haven't asked is my question.
I don't think so.
That's a very vague question.
Well, I'm going to say that you're not local. And if you engage an engineer to go out there,
Mhm.
they're not going to come out with a power drill and everything to get into that house. So you might want to have the contractor engaged also to get them in the house to go through it and create that report.
But because the city has boarded it up, right? That is not possible, correct? We
Well,
can't.
you as the owner of the property or the responsible party,
Mhm.
you can open the property and close the property once you're done. All that says, that one orange sign that says no trespassing, it's
Mhm.
not saying that the owner or the responsible party for the property can't enter their own property. What it's saying is that anybody else should not
Oh.
be entering the property is because it was sealed by the department and it's no trespassing because it's not yours.
Got it. Okay. So my next question is, in order for the building to be deemed safe, is it possible for it to be deemed safe on the parts that you mentioned? So the porch
That-
part?
The only thing that the report has to address is what the violation says.
Yes, okay,
So maybe
that's what-
technically, your engineer doesn't even really have to go inside because the inspector didn't note things inside, you know?
Got it. Right. It just, okay. All right. So that's good. I mean, good for me to know. All right. And then. I got it. I don't have any additional questions at this time. It seems to be very straightforward and clear. So my next steps is the structural engineer and thank you for the 60-day variance that have been granted. And I'm going to assume that that's 60 days as of 1/13/2022. So we're looking at March the 11th, I guess.
Somewhere around there.
I'm just gonna go the normal 30 to 30. and
Okay.
I'm gonna say March 13th, there or around. But it's not
That's a
like March.
Sunday. That's a Sunday.
Yeah, it's not like March 14th or whatever that date would be. We're gonna
Got
be
it.
knocking down the property, but
Okay.
just on, let's say,
Best thing you can do is keep in touch with the inspector.
yeah.
Yes, which I
would
have
say
been.
Probably
I've been-
around March 14th, I'm gonna put in the system that to look in the system and see if there's a permit at least under review.
Got it.
As long
Okay.
as I
Yeah,
see a permit under review, then we don't move forward. If I don't see anything, then we move forward with the course of action.
absolutely. Yes, and thank you, Amy. I have been in touch with Mr. Slover. I've been
Mhm.
emailing him just to let him know that this whole process is going on. So I
Good.
plan to continue to stay in touch with him, and I'll let him know as I continue in these next 60 days.
Yeah, w-
Anybody
what-
else that I need to be in touch with, though?
You can add me to that email,
Okay, what's your email address?
Thomas,
Is your first and last name?
first
at
and last
Thomas?
name with a period in between,
Yep.
at phila.gov.
I'll see. And apologies, because everybody said their name and title at the top. I don't recall that. What's your title again?
I'm the court liaison for the department. It's a very
court
long
liaison.
title.
Got it. No, just, okay, liaison, okay. Or buzzer, and at phila.gov, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Just
Somebody had
one
to-
comment, since you are at a, at a distance.
Mhm.
Even though, as Amy said, you don't technically have to respond to anything or have the engineer look at anything that's not cited.
Mhm.
But you might want to consider, and this is, really at your call, having everything, as much as possible looked at, just so you're not surprised. You do all this work and then you find that you've got a roof collapse or something that just was not, people weren't aware of. So,
The roof of the rear of the property is named in the report or in the
of
violation.
the rear, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying anything above and beyond just because
Yeah.
of passage of time or whatever. But again,
Right,
um,
The bare minimum for the make safe is that you just address what's in the report.
correct. The list of,
Violations.
Right, and I think it just talks about the front porch and maybe the rear roof and the chimney.
got it. And yeah, the other things that you listed, Thomas. So my next question, though, this is saying that it's like fines. Is that accumulating during
So-
this time? Okay,
We have to put them on the notice.
okay,
It's
Thank you.
mandated that it's code 3 violation. So it's an unsafe or eminently dangerous violation, which means it's code 3.
got it.
As long as it's a code 3, it's under statute by city council that it comes with a $2,000 a day fine.
Got it.
Which means that if we got in front of a judge, the city solicitor could ask for a fine up to $2,000 for every day that the fine or every day the property is in violation.
Understood.
Typically for properties that are in this condition, we don't even make it to a courtroom. Because what happens is the department steps in and demolishes the property before we even get there.
Right,
So by
Okay.
you filing the appeal, you're buying yourself more time.
got it. Understood. I'd like to make a request, because on this violation notice, it has my address, but it has apartment A. And if you could remove apartment A, because there is an apartment A, but it's not me.
Okay,
just
we'll
to
make that
sure.
adjustment.
Okay.
Anything else?
Is there an apartment that I have to list? Because I
No
have to,
apartment. So
No
it's
apartment.
it's like a house.
oh, okay,
It's not a house, but the address is like a house. There's no apartment to it.
right. So I'll just email you the decision from the board then. That probably would be easier, correct?
Yes, it would be.
Okay.
And you have,
very good.
well, yeah, you emailed me about the Zoom link, so it's the same email address. Thank you.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I don't have
Okay.
any further questions. Thank you so much for your time and for the information. I'll be in touch. Well, I'll be in touch with Jim Slover.
Okay,
Okay.
Good luck, it's a full-time
Good
job.
luck.
I know. Thank you.
All right, bye.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, how many people?
1
One
minute,
or
he's
two?
still connecting.
Okay.
Assume it's. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, you're on your phone as well, or?
I was, because when I didn't get let in, I thought maybe something was going on with my computer.
No, we
so
were just doing the other.
I
having
can-
another hearing.
Are you
Okay,
gonna delete it? or
Okay,
you want me
only
to-
one person, Deb?
yes, only one person.
Okay, good, let's get started. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
Deborah Richardson, boards.
Michelle Rand, Boards Administrator.
Jace Correa, Department of License and Inspections.
Thomas Rabikowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody going to testify in this case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Jace, take it away.
All right, this is BBS case number MI-2021-005081 for 211 North Avondale Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Detunai Lucy. Can you bear with me 1 second? I'm just trying to get my volume up here.
You can hear you fine.
Yep.
We can hear you. Can you not hear us?
Yeah, it's a little low, but
Okay, that's fine.
yeah, it seems to be at my maximum here, but it's a little low.
The other device is at your phone?
Yeah, the other device is my phone.
Can you raise the volume on that to hear us? Because I left both devices in.
Oh, okay. Bear with me 1
Okay.
second then.
You're fine.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, everything good?
Just want to make sure.
Recording in progress.
All right, I think I have to close this other one. Okay.
Okay, all right, Tom, why don't you tell us a little bit about the case? Let's get started.
So this property, or it concerns the property at 211 North Avondale Street. We received a call into our 311 database from an occupant, basically stating that they believed the foundation is cracking and there are leaks and a hole in the ceiling and closet. There were more cracking on the inside and outside of the house. So following an inspection that occurred on or around November 9th of 2021, the department declared the structure as unsafe due to settlement and cracking at the foundation, specifically in the porch area that was named in the notice of violation that was sent. The appellant or on the appeal. The appeal has, I have owned the above property for about 20 years. This property and all properties on the block have settled for years with cracks along the porches and walls. The entire block is this way, not just my property. There has been no change, although my ownership has and I have tenants who is causing problems and not even on my lease. I don't know if this is a landlord-tenant issue, but I will share the screen with the board. You will see in the photographs that there is some sort of fracturing or cracking that is occurring on the stone rubble foundation at the basement of this open porch. There is something going on in the way of cracking, if it is just maintenance or if it is a structural issue. My recommendation to the board is for a design professional, an engineer would be called out to the property, assess the structurability within 60 days and provide a report to the department. If there are repairs that are spelled out in this report, then a make safe permit be pulled. If not, then the property would be declared as safe per that report. I'll share my screen now. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yep.
So this is the photograph taken by the inspector at the time. It is a side view of the porch itself. You can see down at the corner where their vegetation is growing that somebody has added some sort of stucco, as you can see the wire mesh under the first coat. But the next photograph does show the front of the enclosed porch. Right under the window, you can see that the paint is peeling and there is an opening in the mortar joint. There is also, you can see that the window itself is out of square. So that would lead me to believe that there is something going on in the structure, or at least in that area, that there is some sort of movement. And then further along, this is another photograph of the left-hand side. You can see that there is fracturing that is opening up along the mortar joints of that stone. Is this just surface water that's penetrating into the property, or is the foundation moving? And that's our concern. Basically, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and turn it over to the board.
Okay. Sarah, you want to tell us what you think?
Yes. Good afternoon. I have owned this property for well over, I think about 15 or 18 years now. Also own other properties on the block. The issue that I have, I guess first, what negated this call in is I have a tenant who is currently not paying rent, who has been applying for programs through the city to get paid, and who recently had a fiancé of some sort that moved in and has kind of taken control of her life and has been giving a lot of headaches to us. Prior to this, we had no issues with the tenant. They are very difficult to deal with. They do not keep appointments. They have given us trouble over the last 4 months. Prior to this, everything was great until this gentleman moved in. But putting that aside, in terms of the actual property itself, every single property on that block has settled and has been this way for several years. It's not just my property. Every single property from the whole block, from the beginning of the block all the way down to my property, which is on the end. There is a lot that's next to my property, which I believe there was a property there before that was turned down, probably by the city. There's a garden that's there, that's been there for several years, that used to be maintained by a lady next door who passed away. The settlement cracks that is on the outside are cracks which can be maintained if it has to be sealed with concrete. But in terms of the property, if there's any sinking or anything going on, it would be an issue then with the entire block completely, because all the blocks and every porch on that block is the same way. They all lean towards the street. I looked into this before and there were no issues with it. I am willing to do whatever maintenance needs to be done with the front. But if they're saying that there is a foundation issue, which I don't see because there's really been no movement, this is something then that would have to be across the board on the whole block. But again, like I said, I've owned this property for so long. I have not seen any issues there in terms of movement or anything that's, dangerously happening to negate the fact that there's a structural issue. I think in the city of Philadelphia or anywhere in general, properties do settle. We have settlement cracks, and I actually physically went out to the property after I received the notice to see what was going on. And I saw that it's not anything much other than what's been there before, which we've had issues where the cement opens and, from water, seeping in, and we reseal the cracks. And I'm willing to have that done. I just wanted to have this meeting with the board before making a move to do what needs to be done there on the maintenance end.
We hear what you're saying, but a couple of things. One, we're only charged with looking at this property. It's the only one that has a violation citation at the moment. What we see and what we understand from the department does require an engineer's investigation and a report, either confirming that there is no, as you say, that there is no structural issue, or conversely, that there is, that needs to be taken care of, and it would spell out what needs to be done. And at that point, you would have a certain timeline in order to do that work. So that needs to happen. We can't simply rely on your observations. We need to rely on a registered structural engineer's report. In terms of the rest of the block, and this is relevant because, as you say, if you own other properties, if the verdict of the structural engineer in inspecting this is that there is a problem, it would be in your best interest, as well as your neighbors, to know this, and that may have to be dealt with in terms of other properties. The city can't take any initiative with that, short of citing them for violations. But the important thing is to know definitively whether this is an issue or not. So I think that's where we stand. And there's a certain time frame. I can't remember, Tom, what you were recommending.
I'm proposing 60 days to get a structural report.
Wayne.
Okay, yeah, I again, 60 days to get a structural report, and if everything's fine, it's fine, and if not, we'll have to take care of the work that has to be done. So that's what we're going to rule on, and you can get back to us in 60 days with the engineering report to let us know what's going on.
All right, so when that report is done, where do I send that report, or to whom do I send that report?
Once the report is prepared, if the report comes back that the property is structurally stable and there are no repairs that are needed to be done, you can email that report to the area inspector, who's Inspector Slover. He would upload that to the case and reference the engineer's report. If there were repairs that were needed in that report and a permit is required, then it would have to be turned over to a contractor, and that contractor would have to pull what's called a make safe permit.
It has to be a contractor registered with the city,
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if there needs to be an extension of that 60 days, because I'm going to be jumping right on this to try to get someone out. But again, when a period with weather and all kinds of stuff, if there has to be any reason for any sort of extension, who would I need to contact for that?
So with the board itself, the board is rendered, if they're going to come up with and grant a variance for 60 days, you wouldn't go back to the board. You would keep in contact with your area inspector.
Okay.
Depending upon the time frame, the area inspector could turn around and seek another line of enforcement and basically forward this over to our Court of Common Pleas program. And then basically you would be going in front of a judge for the Court of Common Pleas and explaining on why we needed to seek that action to compliance.
Yeah, we often ask for compliance within 30 days, 45 days. 60 days should be more than ample time to get done what needs to be done here.
Sure. Okay, all right.
All right, thank you very much. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and the recording is,
Okay,
Jace? Oh,
Yeah,
Jace, you ready?
yeah, which one was
number-
it?
Number 4.
Number 4, 1812 West Venango Street.
Okay, I'm ready whenever you guys are.
Okay,
Go ahead.
this case, number 4, 1812 West Venango Street has been complied. So we'll read it into the record. Jace, go ahead.
All right, this is BBS case number MI-2021-000434 for 1812 West Venango Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Thomas Robikowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections. As far as this case is concerned for meeting or HOB meeting 2021-000473, the unsafe case written against the property at 1812 West Venango Street has been marked complied by the department. It was marked complied April 8th of 2021. So this matter is moot with this board.
Viewpoint, right. Okay.
You complied? Is that what that is? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
complied.
marked
Okay.
complied as of April 8th of 2021.
Okay,
I'm going to stop the recording now.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, 6012 Lansdale Avenue did not show up today. We don't know what the reason was for that. So we're going to give them, we're going to schedule them for the next meeting. And if they don't come in the next meeting, then we'll take steps to solve this problem. Okay, Jace, go ahead, read it into the minutes.
This is BBS case number MI-2021-005048 for 6012 Lansdowne Avenue.
Okay. Good, it's right into the minutes.
To the next hearing date, which I don't,
The next hearing date, what day?
I
February,
have to look.
no, January.
The 27th of January. So this will be continued to January 27th, 2022.
I'm going to
Sorry.
start recording. Sorry, thanks.
We're going to start recording, so you can
Okay,
announce
yeah.
everybody after that. All right, very good. Go ahead.
All right, I'll start again. We've got Ed Gormley, Senior Project Manager from CHOP. They're the owner. James Bowman from Ballinger Architect, Ajay Prasad, Code Consultant with Jensen Hughes, and myself, Paul Gabriel. I'm with Aegis Project Controls Construction Manager, and I'm the applicant.
Okay, well, we'll start now, okay? I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed August, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Michelle Rand, Boards Administrator.
Case Korea, Department of License Inspections.
Anybody going to testify in the case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Jace, take it away.
This is BBS case number MI-2021-005314 for 3501 Civic Center Boulevard. For the record, can you state your name?
Paul Gabriel. And if we can go around to James, Ed, and Ajay. In that order, please.
James Bowman,
Ed Gormley.
Ajay Prasad.
Okay, that's everyone?
Yes.
Okay, whoever's going to present the case, go ahead.
Okay, I am going to share my screen if that's okay.
Jace, did you
Sure.
read it in the record yet?
Yeah, you read it in.
All right.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you just a little bit of background on the project so we can have the full context, and then I'm going to pass it off to James, the architect, to really talk about the details. Can you guys see? I think you can see my screen, which
Yes.
should be a zoning plan. The project is the replacement of a parking garage in kind to an existing garage that at Osler Drive. So this is obviously in Philadelphia, near the current CHOP buildings. The address is 3501 Civic Center Boulevard, which is the address of the parcel. This encompasses a couple different parcels approved in zoning plan ZP-2021-005437. This parking garage is a below-grade parking garage that is being demolished and rebuilt adjacent to existing research and medical facilities. And the goal is to create a new parking garage structure that can support a future tower. But for the current phase and what's currently zoned is a parking garage. This is the plan which shows the extent of the parking garage and the parcel limits. And again, under zoning permit ZP 2021-05-005437. We are looking for a building permit right now to rebuild a portion of the parking garage. Some of the existing buildings currently are on top of this garage. It's part of the nuance of the building. And eventually this future portion of this parcel will have landscape on top of it. The request is to change the slope of essentially the structural surface. And I'm going to pull up the drawing to show you exactly what we're looking to and what the appeal is for. So as you can see here, this is a control plan. We're looking at drainage. The current code, and this is where I'm going to transition in a second to James with Ballinger to talk, requires a 1/4 inch slope. We're looking for 1/8. And the reason is because there's impact to essentially the structure and the architecture of the building, which would have some impact to the design. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to James to kind of explain some of the nuance of the appeal.
Thanks, Paul. So the parking garage is intended to be entirely subgrade. The roof of the parking garage is at plaza level, and thus the intent is that the roof becomes a vegetative roof in the future. So this structural slab is intended to shed water to drains. The applicable code section is 1507.15.1, which requires that liquid applied roofing shall have a design slope of not less than 1/4 unit vertical and 12 units horizontal, so 1/4 inch per foot. This parking garage is mediating between existing floor levels in several CHOP buildings, Abramson Research Center to the west and the main hospital to the east, and thus it's tying into existing floor levels. At the same time, there's the intent that the garage accommodates ADA vans for the patient and family population that CHOP serves. And so a requirement to accommodate those vans is an 8'6" clear height within the parking garage. Providing the required slope of a 1/4 inch per foot increases the weight of the roof deck in such a way that the depth of plaza structure would force the proposed A-level slab further down. Thus, it would not align with the existing main slab and would require additional excavation. There is the intent here to limit the amount of additional excavation to accommodate the operations of the existing research facilities that are adjacent to this site. So we are proposing an 1/8 inch per foot slab or a 1/8 unit vertical and 12 units horizontal slope. We believe this provides positive drainage, and it's also a warranted installation by the specified manufacturers, in this case, American Hydrotech, that is supplying the liquid applied waterproofing. So any questions?
Yeah, what is the thickness of the structure itself? Like, do you have a structural slab and then a wearing slab? And then how much soil are you anticipating on top of all this?
The structural slab is, I believe, 8 inches, and the wearing slab on top of that tapers from about 2 to 6 inches at the high point. The depth of the overburden varies depending on the hardscape above, but it's generally in the range of about 2 feet.
And you couldn't push up that whole floor system and take it out of the 2 foot of soil?
No, because of the elevations of the existing Osler Drive, which runs through the site here, tying into those existing roadway elevations is really what's driving the height of the structure here at the low point.
I'm gonna pull up the zoning plan so that you can see this is private drive. This is the public right of way. And so as we're tying in there, that's the challenge.
What's your drop? Like, it's all based on where your drains are and your column center lines. So how much are you dropping? I don't know what your bay sizes are. I know in 20 feet, you're probably dropping 2.5 inches, but
The total drop is about 4 inches.
Okay.
With the proposed 1/8 inch per foot slope.
Pull up
Yes,
a section if I can pull one up, but go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
is the drive itself being replaced or no? Does that,
The entire structure, including, sorry, let me go back to the zoning plan. The entire structure, including the drive, is being replaced. So this entire garage section is being redone because all of the garage is there. So including the egress for the garage. Currently, it is, about right in the center here. This is the new egress into the garage, and again, to align with the condition of Osler at the right of way.
and are there overflow drains or anything in the event that something happens with the main drain?
Yes, we're providing both primary and overflow drains.
I think that that pretty much sums up, our request for the variance condition, and with a lot of what James had talked about specifically, to not impact further the adjacent buildings with further excavation by needing a slope to drop it down, and then to align with, as James said, the current conditions at the right of way. Well, the proposed conditions at the right of way.
Are you satisfied with the overflow drains that will be sufficient?
Well, an 1/8 of an inch per foot isn't a lot. I mean, if the owner is willing to take what I'll consider a bit of a risk that this will flow properly, I guess I'm okay with it.
Okay. Ted?
Yeah, we're comfortable. We've had extensive conversations with the design team and American Hydrotech themselves, who's going to install the system. I agreed. We had wanted to make sure we did that due diligence ourselves as well.
Mhm.
Ted, are you okay with it? Okay, you're muted, Ted.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Good, I'm also good with it, so good luck. There you go, got your variance.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, good luck.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye.